Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Where are you going to be 91 days from now? Why am I asking that question? Because that's how long it takes for what's known as an identity upgrade. It's also how long it takes to be able to slip into dysfunction. 91 days. So, where are you going to be with what you're choosing, with your focus, how you're going to optimize those emotions? Because the fear, the stress, and strain aren't going to go away. It's how you utilize them as extra energy for your success, and the actions then you implement consistently for those 91 days, to where 3 months from now, 13 weeks, you no longer have to think about it. It automatically happens, because success is simply a revelation of who you are. That's what we're covering today. My name is Dawn Ferguson, certified hypnotist, as well as a certified instructor through the NGH. You don't care about the initials behind my name. All that means is I know how to take you from where you are to where you want to be as quick as possible. In fact, I tell my clients when they work with me privately, you know what? You're going to get same day results. So ask me anything for your success. That's what we're covering today. By the way, if you'd like me to cover one of your questions in a future episode, this is what I want you to do. Text me. AMA, that stands for Ask Me Anything. I have to keep these things easy, guys, for me to be able to remember. So AMA with your question to 636-699-7791. Again, that is 636-699-7791. And when you text me, if I have a free resource that will be able to assist you, I'll text you back with the link to it. All right, so what are the questions that we're covering today? We are covering how hard is it going to be and how long is it going to take when she decides that this is the dream she is going to turn into her reality. Great question, because we have to look at secondary gain and how you will self-sabotage, because it'll still get your needs met, but in a dysfunctional way. Question number 2, isn't loving somebody unconditionally making excuses for their bad behavior? We have confused love with expectations through engagement. And then our last question is, why are they more successful in business than me? In other words, she has perverted her progress by adopting their prosperity identity. Did I spell identity right? That looks odd. I don't know. Okay, so question number 1. Let's go back to that. Oh, by the way, if you will comment #AHA with your breakthrough from today, if you'll share that comment, Then at the end of the month, everyone who's done that will be put into a drawing. And every time you comment on one of our postings like this, because we have for our private group, Health, Wealth, and Happiness, we have Magnificent Monday Mindset. So you can ask me about that one. Then we have, what is it? Weeds in My Garden of Growth, Lessons Learned, usually the hard way, where I share a personal story and how I broke through, hoping that it'll be able to assist you. And then the final one today, Ask Me Anything for Your Success. By the way, if you want to know anything about these other free programs we put on, shoot me an email, dawn@drewdawnferguson.com, and I'll give you the ability to know how we do that. But every time you post hashtag aha on that, on any of those, you get put into the drawing. Happens automatically for you. And then at the end of the month, we give away one of our featured courses for you to be able to turn your dreams into reality. Okay, how hard is it going to be and how long is it going to take? You go after those goals, those end results that you want to experience in your life on a consistent basis. Well, as I said at the beginning, 91 days, 13 weeks is how long it takes for an identity upgrade. It's also how long it takes for an identity downgrade. So you're going after your goal. How hard is it going to be? Because we already know it's going to take 91 days. And there's some danger zones that you need to be aware of during that time. I'll get to those in just a minute. So how hard is it going to be? It's going to be just as hard as you need to make it in order to get your needs met. See, everything you do that is unhealthy, that holds you back, that is dysfunctional, is actually getting a need met. We have what's known as the 4 symptoms, the 5 motivators, and then the 4 values for focus. So let's look at the symptoms first, because that's how it's going to show up. And keep in mind, symptoms of your bad habits they have positive intent. You just were never trained or conditioned on how to get it met in a way that was healthy and functional for you. So the first one is, this is how you soothe yourself. Number 2, this is how you get out of doing something that you don't want to do. Number 3, this is how you get attention so you can feel good about yourself. Number 4, this is how you connect with others, asking them to take care of you. That can be very healthy, but you've started out on the path of getting those needs met in a dysfunctional way because of your upbringing. There was something you needed, it wasn't there for you. And so, you learned to maladapt. So you want to look at those symptoms and say, my bad habit, how is it that I can get all of this met, but in a healthy way? One of those is going to be a big driver for you. So start with it first. Then we have the 5 motivators. The 5 motivators are status, control, freedom, relationships, and then what you can count on, truth, people who will back you up, justice in the world. So that's all underneath fairness, justice, and truth. So you have one of those that really turns you on. Maybe it's status, but you can get status by being a hot mess with crisis, chaos, and drama just as much as you can with making rapid progress. So you want to look at, out of the 5 motivators, which is the one that seems to appeal to you the most. And then after that, you have the core 4 values. You have certainty, you have variety, you have worthiness, and you have validation. Those must be met before you can go on to the other 2 drivers that are going to be wisdom and contribution. So out of those core 4, certainty, what can you count on? Variety, how do you add life and passion to to your experiences. Worthiness. How do you bring yourself out at your very best? Validation. How do you relate to others? So your dysfunctional habit, your bad belief, your hurtful emotions that you experience on a consistent basis is fulfilling one of those core four. It's just doing it in a way that's going to hold you back. This is the reason why I love hypnosis. In one single session, we can be talking to the different aspects that we all possess in our personality and go, okay, how is what's holding you back getting this met here? What's over here? What's waiting for you here? And how can we now turn this on for you to be your very best? My clients come up with some incredible answers that they already possess. They just weren't aware of them. I don't have to come up with them. The responsibility I have for them is to create the experience for them to have transformation, and then after that, revelation. So it's the same way with you. Now, danger days or danger zones. So we have 3 days, 3 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, and 12 to 13 weeks. It takes 72 hours or 3 days to let go of something. Understand that. Know that you're going to have some ups and downs. Give yourself the time to be able to process through it. You'll be fine. Things begin to level out on day 4. Then after that, it takes approximately 21 days to optimize your emotions. Not 21 days for a new habit. 21 days for your mind to get used to the fact that the stressors are still going to show up, but you're actually going to use them as extra energy to get more done with less effort. Then your mind is able to take whatever shows up in your environment and use it as a propellant for you to move fast into progress. All right. Then 6 to 8 weeks. This is a big time for you to backslide. Know that. Have your coach ready for you. What do I mean about that? You don't need an accountability partner because your wound will trigger their bad habits and they'll give you excuses on why you can backslide. Instead, you need somebody who's ready to say, you know what, you need a course correction and I'm going to hold you to it. Most people want to avoid correction. They want to avoid the obedience that their dream into reality is going to ask from them. Instead, they'd rather sacrifice and give up something, but the mind will not tolerate deprivation. This is the reason why diets for most people do not work long term, just to give you an idea on that. So be ready for that backslide. And then 12 to 13 weeks, right around the time that that identity is taking a firm hold, is another time when you'll say, oh, you know what? I've got this. I'm good. I don't have to be so consistent with this. And you'll start giving yourself some slack. And that slack will actually be the noose around the neck of your next level of success. And it's going to pull you back. So be ready right around that point also, which with reaching out to your correction coach. Okay. So how hard is it going to be? Well, as hard as you think you need it to make it in order to achieve success. Next question. Isn't loving someone unconditionally making excuses for their bad behavior? Just because you love someone does not mean that you cannot set expectations for them when you're going to have continued engagement through experiences with them. So it's two different things. I can love my clients unconditionally and still say, you know what? I expect more from you than this. So let's lay out a strategy, a system, and a plan in order for you to get your needs met, but in a healthy, functional way. And whenever we have our check-ins, we're going to start off with what's working well and even better if, because there's confusion between, oh, I'm not enough and there's not enough. There is definitely enough out there for you. But will you ever be enough? No, you are always going to seek the next level that is going to bring you out at your very best. So quit trying to get rid of the feeling of, I'm never going to be good enough, because you're not. It's actually here to help you in a very healthy way. Okay, so I can love my exes, but I am no longer in a long-term relationship with them because they could not meet my expectations of engagement. So loving someone unconditionally has nothing to do with expectations. You can see the brilliance in them. You can see the revelation of the untapped potential and love them for that. But if you are going to have continued experiences with them, there has to be a separate level where you are always looking for them to grow with you. So do not confuse the two. All right. And then our last question is, why are they more successful in business than me, AKA a prosperity identity? Prosperity identity shows up no matter what you do as a passion choice on how to make profit. So you can be in your own business, you can be working in corporate, you can be raising a family that's still profit because it's making society a better place. You have a prosperity identity. One of the worst things that you can do is look at someone else and start comparing their identity to yours. Now, whenever you see them doing something that you really like, it's because you possess the ability to do the same thing. But it doesn't mean that you're at that level of engagement that they're in. I'll give you an example. I was working with one of my private clients just yesterday, and she has training classes that she puts on. And she said, I've got somebody in the industry who's doing similar training classes, and they always have more people show up than I do. Why is that? So we went to that business's Facebook profile, and you can see the ads that someone's running. And so we saw 10 times the amount of ads than what my client was running. And I said, well, here's a great reason why. They're investing engagement at 10 times the rate than you are. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be doing this engagement on social media, but it happens to be where people are right now. So it wasn't compare herself as far as the amount of people that he has, is that look at the system. Is he utilizing a system that she might be able to use that is going to propel her to the next level of prosperity? And is her audience looking for that type of system? Because then she was saying, well, look at what he does in his commercials. He's showing all these in-depth manuals. And I'm like, your identity as far as creation is different than his identity. So sometimes when you have a certainty identity, you look for systems. Then you have a variety identity. You're like, don't box me in. I like to be spontaneous and just come up with things on a whim. And then you have a worthiness prosperity identity that says it's really important for me to work one-to-one. And then another prosperity identity is the validation identity, which is also the beginning levels of leadership that says, no, I don't want to be one-to-one. I want to be one-to-many. Start showing me platforms on how to get my word out. So you'll have one of those that's primary, then another one that will back that up, and then there's one that really does not appeal to you at all, and one that is still open for exploration at a later date out of those core four. I happen to know that for this client, she's very much on variety and spontaneity and saying, oh my gosh, let's discover what's going down this path. If she were to try to put herself in that other person's identity, which is very regimented, very system controlled, she'd actually suffocate. So whatever business you have, whether it's working in corporate, whether you're a healing or successpreneur, or you're raising some sort of family to make the world a better place, that is still your passion for profit, even if you're not getting a paycheck. Look at what is your primary identity and your passion. And that's what you want to start with, because that is what's going to light you up with your brilliance and make the world a better place. Wow. Okay. So what all did we cover today? We covered how hard is it going to be for you to achieve success? Well, we looked at the four expressions of symptoms. We looked at the five motivators and then the four values. Look at how you're getting your needs met in a dysfunctional way with all of that. And then start asking yourself, how can you move forward into progress by getting those needs met in a way that is healthy and will work for you? Then we moved into loving someone unconditionally is not making excuses for their bad behavior. You're confusing love with expectations of engagement, and they are separate. And then finally, how can you turn on your prosperity identity? Well, look at where your passion lies and begin with that. Okay. Post your aha, your hashtag aha from today, so you can be entered into our drawing for one of our Dreams into Reality courses. And if you want to be featured on next week's Ask Me Anything for Your Success, then send that to me. Text it, your question, AMA, to 636-699-7791. Until we get together next week, blessings on your brilliance and how you're using it on making the world a better place.